Hello, dear fellow animals. Thanks for coming when you could have been out sniffing the bins if you were a dog, or laughing until you fart if you were a bonobo, or indeed dreaming if you were a baby jumping spider. Animals heal us. Animals heal the individual psychologically, as anybody who's ever had a pet knows. In animal-assisted therapy, different animals from doves to skunks and donkeys to parakeets have healing effects, lessening anxiety, depression, and social withdrawal, increasing self-confidence and mental well-being. Time spent with animals, particularly horses, is incredibly helpful for people with autism. A service dog can pull a wheelchair, find lost things, put laundry in the machine and take it out when the wash is done. And a psychiatric service dog can note mood swings and alert their human by nudging or barking or dropping a really big hint, bringing medication to a person on the edge. In the USA, dogs can dial 911 in a house fire or other crisis. If a screen is set at dog height, with a 9 and a 1 and a 1 in separate circles, and if the dog presses those in the right order with their nose, a message is put through to emergency services. Animals can help heal the epidemic of loneliness. I feel it. Writing is very lonely work. And in a study of elderly dog owners living alone, 75% of the men and 67% of the women said their dog was their only friend. It's both heartbreaking and heart-mending. Animals vitalize our minds with their presence, with their joie de vivre. Some 65 species of animals are known to laugh, including rats, dogs, and primates. Bonobos, if tickled, make a choked gasp of laughter, followed by a peep of pleasure. You know the one, fits of laughter in stitches, the bit where your whole body vibrates as if all your organs are being massaged by the bubbles of 101 jacuzzis, and you are both the jacuzzi and the jacuzzed. That one, that kind of laughter, famously the best medicine. Animals play. Ravens as well as lambs play king of the castle. Turtles and wolves play tug of war. Kittens chase their own tails as if they kept the catnip there. And watching any animal playing, my human borders crumble, and my responsibilities to seriousness dissolve like a biscuit in tea. In an astonishing discovery, neurologists have shown that when we see animals, a particular part of the brain, the right amygdala, lights up in a flare of electrical activity. Fox, whale, penguin, frying pan, mouse. Your brain lights up for all of them except the frying pan, obviously. But this fact totally stops me in my tracks. We are electrified right in the core of our brains by the animals. Animals can heal us physically. Dogs can be trained to detect certain cancers and UTI infections and malaria, the latter by smelling sop. Petting animals reduces blood pressure and the stress hormone, cortisol, while boosting endorphins and oxytocin, the cuddle hormone. Animals can work as our first responders. In Ethiopia in 2005, a 12-year-old girl was kidnapped by a gang of 7 men. They took her out bush and they beat her brutally for 7 days. And then 3 lions turned up. They drove the men away and they stayed with the girl, not harming her, until her family turned up with the police, at which point the police said, the lions relinquished the girl and melted back into the forests. A parrot saved the life of a toddler when for just a few minutes no human, could see or hear that the infant was choking, but a pet parrot did. The parrot became frantic, flapping his feathers and squawking, "Mama, baby," so loudly that the babysitter in another room heard, rushed in, and rescued the child. I've always been scared of death, but learning about animals has transformed that. They can accompany us in our dying, offering us a hospice for the heart. I spoke to a palliative care consultant who told me that in a hospice where she had worked, a cat moved in who seemed to know when somebody was very close to death. The cat would go to them, lie with them, and accompany them. It was a consolation to the patient, and it was invaluable to the staff, as it meant they could give the patient's family and friends some advanced warning. The cat, said the consultant, was never wrong. The sound of a cat's purr is understood to be healing for humans as well as for cats themselves. The sound of bees buzzing stimulates the cerebrospinal fluid in the brain, which is really good for the immune system. But birdsong is, of course, the quintessential healing sound of nature. We feel it, myths note it, and research has demonstrated that hearing birdsong improves people's mental well-being for up to 8 hours. But health is not only an individual issue. To be truly well, our societies need to be healthy, with ethical behavior, with justice, and with healthy politics. Indigenous cultures are adamant that animals taught ethics to humans because we are, they say, the younger brothers of the animals. We were savage little creatures, scruffy and rude. We didn't have any manners or any friends. We came late to the stage and we turned up to a world that was already ethical. According to wolf ethics, the pack usually lets the hungriest wolf eat first. The adults share babysitting duties for the young pups. Wolves operate a kind of welfare state, taking care of the sick and injured and sharing food with those too old or too young to hunt. Early humans watched wolves and learned from them, say Australian anthropologists, while Indigenous Australians put it pithily, dogs make us human. Wolves were practicing the ethics of care, cooperation, and friendship 1 million years before we humans did. The grey wolf ethos is the closest to a human ethos in all of nature, and they were doing it first. If in our prehistory wolves gave our ancestors ethical guidelines, some dogs are laying down the law today. In my book, I've given examples of where police officers had their police dogs with them when the officer had begun to behave violently, wrongly towards an innocent person. The dogs, trained to go for the aggressor, turned on their handlers, bit them, in one case removing the weapon to stop the wrongful assault. Healthy societies need a sense of justice, and in this animals could be good role models. Dogs will shake paws for the sheer fun of it, many times in a row with no treat necessary, just because it's a bit of a laugh, until it isn't. Studies show that if a second dog is given food rewards for shaking paws while the first one isn't, the first dog refuses to play anymore and shows signs of stress. When capuchin monkeys were treated unfairly in a fairness experiment by human researchers, the monkeys became furious. There was a lot of hurling of cucumber slices. Animals can offer us political medicine. They may work collectively. They may operate referendums. After grazing, a herd of red deer wait until 62% of them are up on their feet, and only then do they move. Honeybees use consensus politics. When they're looking for a new hive, scout bees fly out, explore the possibilities, return and report back truthfully on the various qualities of the sites they've found. Then other scout bees fly out to check. They do this in the language of dance, and the bees don't move until all the scouts are dancing together for one particular choice. Fieldfares are beautiful birds, but they have an enemy, the far larger hooded crow, who'll sneak eggs from fieldfare nests. It's horrible to have a hoodie on your tail, but fieldfares deal with it in a demonstration of political power. They know they can't fight alone, so they adopt the first principle of political action: find allies. The fieldfares fly together above the hooded crow, and they do a massive synchronized shit. They bomb the bird, whose plumage gets oily, so it has to slink off and clean up. I love all birds, but I have a particular fondness for sparrows. Studies show that if a house sparrow finds food, they do not start to eat alone. They first chirrup an invitation to their pals that there's food to share, and they wait for company before they forage. Sparrows are pin-up birds for mutual aid, for friendship, for unions. We need sparrow medicine. The super rich could learn a lot. The profoundly unhealthy politics of billionaires offends the unionizing spirit of the sparrow. Jeff Bezos' famous union buster flies into space in a penis-shaped rocket, the prick in the dick, yanking himself off and away from the shared and sharing life on Earth. And then there's Elon Musk, that human sick note, the twat in the tweet, promoting the presidential fart, the twat in the cap, to world domination. That one-man ethical fade sponsoring an assault on political truth-telling, that would make the bees weep. I'm so sorry, where was I? True health includes the well-being of the collective psyche, which needs animal energy in its art and indeed its spirituality. When the Belgian artist Francis Alice was invited to the opening of the Venice Biennale, he didn't go, but he sent a peacock in his place. And the peacock preened and belled and flirted his tail feathers, because Alice knew we can all speak peacock and understand the bird's preposterously pretentious meaning. The collective noun, by the way, is an ostentation of peacocks. A spiritual sense of awe in nature is known to be healing. Some animals themselves can display it. Jane Goodall reports how chimpanzees perform waterfall dances as rituals. He, it's usually a male and usually alone, approaches a waterfall, begins to sway back and forth, then starts stamping his feet, shaking the branches to rattling, hurling rocks that crash like percussion. He's drumming and dancing with the waterfall, magnifying its force, his God body on full alleluia. And then he moves into a time of reflection. Jane Goodall says, given how alike they are to us, I think chimpanzees are as spiritual as we are. Animals in soul the world, a truth that has so far vouchsafed humanity's time on earth. This medicine has always surrounded us, working its ordinary miracles in the holy and reckless plurality of the animals, each one an iteration of life's deepest prayer. Let there be life. Thank you. Thank you.